The White House denies there are any conflicts of interest in Donald Trump's business dealings after new disclosures showed he made more than $1 billion from cryptocurrency ventures. The filings for 2025 show much of the money came from the sale of tokens by a firm co-founded by his own sons and the children of his special envoy, Steve Witkoff. The president once described cryptocurrency as a haven for scammers and drug dealers before embracing its potential shortly before his re-election. He's since advanced policies to relax its regulation. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill told us about the reaction in the US to those investments.
Well, so it depends on who you talk to, obviously, with many of the things dealing with President Trump. On one hand, there are Democrats who have raised questions, not necessarily around the legality of this, because it is legal for a president to invest in various companies, but there are questions about, from their perspective, the ethics of this, especially with President Trump pushing policies that would deregulate or maintain low regulation over the crypto industry, some of them asking if there are ways that there could be more guardrails put on all of this. It's also interesting, there was a survey done just back in May of this year that said a majority of Americans are uncomfortable with President Trump's handling of the crypto industry, although that it was something of a low priority for the majority of them.
And what are the Republicans doing about this? Anyone looking into the figures and saying what's going on?
Well, when it comes to the money itself, I think from what we've seen, at least at this point, there is less of a question about whether this is something that, whether, they're cooking the books or if there's something nefarious happening from the financial aspect of it. But there have been some lawmakers on both sides of the political spectrum that have looked to try and rein in the ability of people who are elected officials from making money from things like the stock market and potentially finding some different ways to regulate the crypto industry. But this has really been something that Republicans have gotten behind, this sort of free market system within the world of crypto, because it is seen by some as a bit of a boost for some of the folks who might vote for them. Whether this new disclosure from President Trump and his finances changes the ways that folks on either side of the political spectrum look at regulating crypto and regulating how and if elected officials can make money from the industry, that's yet to be seen.
Of course, this eclipses the money that President Trump has made from his other businesses, namely real estate property, which is how he made his name and came to our attention in the first place.
Yeah, that was one of the really interesting things looking at this disclosure, is that the vast majority of President Trump's money over the past year was made, again, we're talking about over $1 billion, was made in these crypto ventures, really eclipsing what he brought in from those other business ventures. And again, that's one of the reasons that we are seeing some critics raise questions about President Trump's influence in decreasing regulation when it comes to the crypto industry, because he's making just so much money from it. But again, it's not illegal.